Well, hi there. It's time for another one of our exciting videos on where to retire. We put these out periodically and they seem to generate some interest, both positive and negatively, but let me give you some food for thought. In today's video, we're going to talk about a place you may have never thought of as to where you would retire, and that place is Edinburgh, Scotland. We recently visited Edinburgh and we came up with some ideas that you might want to think about. It's not maybe your traditional retirement paradise that you might be thinking about, but you know, it really has a lot to offer. Okay, let's get right into it. First of all, Edinburgh, the cost of living, always an important metric, is going to be higher than it typically would be in most places in the United States. For example, we compared it. We used numbeo.com, and that's a great website to tell you, you can compare all kinds of places anywhere in the world on different economic metrics. So, for example, in Edinburgh, some things are going to cost more, as I mentioned. So McDonald's, for example, a combo meal at McDonald's will be $10.25. I'm putting this all in US dollars. A beer will cost you 64% more than it would in, for example, Knoxville, where we're from. So it works out to about $6.66 for a pint, a half liter. Certain groceries, beef will cost you 33% more. Gasoline will cost more. Well, it'll be about, of course that varies, but right now it's about $7.12 a gallon. Basic utilities will cost more. Rent will be about the same. Rent is getting higher everywhere in the world. But what we figured, we looked at, for example, a good way to look at a rental would be, what if you had an Airbnb, so that you're not you're not being there full time, and so you're doing that. In my survey of Airbnbs in Edinburgh, they're going to cost anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 a month for basically a two-bedroom apartment. Not cheap, but certainly within reason for a lot of people. Okay, so you're thinking, well, gosh, why should I go there? What's the point of this? I'm going to go to Scotland and it's going to cost me a lot more. Well, there are a number of reasons that you should go there. For example, your heritage, Scottish heritage. There are lots and lots of Americans, especially, and Canadians who have some type of Scottish heritage, and you can sort of get into that and try and relive that a little bit. They speak English, definitely an advantage as to some other retirement location abroad where English may not be the main language spoken. There is absolutely beautiful green scenery in Scotland, and you can't beat it for that. Scotch whiskey, for those people that are aficionados of Scotch whiskey, well, that's where it's from. So that would be certainly a great place to go. People, are they friendly? They are incredibly friendly, and they're friendlier probably than I would be, given the amount of tourists that show up in Edinburgh all the time. But we found people to be just unbelievably friendly and helpful, and you should go see this or go do that, and try this place over here. I mean, they were just so nice. Healthcare is not free, but you can use the national health system in the UK health system in Scotland. And Medicare won't cover you abroad, but if you have some type of secondary insurance, then you can work it that way. But the quality of healthcare, based on surveys that have been given to people in Scotland, the healthcare ranks really, really high in terms of satisfaction. I mean, for example, on a scale of 100, Edinburgh's satisfaction with patients is 92.95% compared to, for example, Knoxville, where we're from, which is just slightly more than 47%. And they put this in terms of the skill and competency of the medical staff, the equipment, the speed of completing tests and getting appointments, the responsiveness, and overall satisfaction with the cost for the care that they get. So if you do happen to get sick, you're going to be taken care of, and while it may not be inexpensive, you're going to be certainly, if you have some secondary insurance, you're going to be taken care of. And of course, if you have some kind of, if you're over 65 and you have some kind of catastrophic illness of something, well, then fly back to the U.S. or wherever you're from and get care there. Pollution. It's incredibly clean. The air, water, quality, garbage, noise, and light, they rank very high in terms of lack of pollution. Crime, something that retirees always are a little bit concerned about. Crime, for example, Numbeo uses a crime index, and crime, they consider, if it's on their index, if anything that is under 20 is very low. If it's over 80, it's very high. So for example, Edinburgh ranks at 31.1. So they are in the low category. Anything from 20 to 40 on their index, Numbeo index, is very low in crime. Compared to Knoxville, for example, which is not a heavy crime area at all, which is 43.6%. 43.6 on their index, which puts it in a medium or moderate crime kind of area. Okay, one of the most important things that you should consider wherever you retire, if you're retiring abroad, is, okay, how do I get a visa or a residency permit, something like that. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of how you can get a retirement residency. There is no official, as I read it, official residency or retired residency available. However, when you go to the UK, and Scotland, of course, is part of the UK, you can get a 6-month tourist visa. So what I would suggest is, if you're even thinking about retiring to Edinburgh, Scotland, or anywhere else in Scotland, is to go for 6 months. And try it out, and maybe try it at a couple of different times of the year at different points. And then, there's always ways that if you intend to live in a place, that you can apply and get a resident visa. I mean, I'm not going to go through the details, because sometimes it's harder for some people and not so hard for others. But the 6 months, you don't need to worry about that. Airports, transportation, that is always important especially for people like Tanya and I, wherever we retire, is how good is the air service. Well, for example, the Edinburgh airport is really amazing. There are 34 airlines that service the airport. They have 313 flights a day to 152 destinations. So you can be pretty well assured that you're going to be able to go somewhere, and they get relatively easily. And you can get these discount airlines, Ryanair, a number of these other discount airlines that can get you all over the place. Now compare that to our little town of Knoxville, where instead of 34 airlines like Edinburgh, we have 6. Okay, with Edinburgh having 313 flights a day, we have 23. And they go to Edinburgh 152 destinations. We go to 33 destinations. So, piece of cake. It's going to be much easier. The weather. Now, that's probably something that any of you would be thinking about. Why would I go to Scotland? The weather is so crappy. Well, okay. With global warming, and especially right now, this is being filmed in July of 2024, and it is so hot in the United States right now, and will probably be hotter in mainland continent of Europe within a month or so. It's already starting to heat up. The summers in Scotland, in Edinburgh, the average is about, the average low is 52, the average high is 66, or about 19 degrees centigrade. So, you know, you're not going to overheat being there. Occasionally they will get up into the 80s. Now, as things warm up, maybe that'll go up a little bit. But, you know, if you want to stay cool, this might be a good place to go. Winter, yes, okay. There's fog, there's rain, there's wind. The average temperature in the wintertime is about 34 degrees Fahrenheit. The high occasionally will get up to 43, so it's not the warmest place in the world. But, you know, if you're from hardy Scottish stock or Northern European stock, this could be the place. You know, you're not going to get a sunburn, maybe a little windburn. Okay, some of the secondary benefits or things of retiring in Scotland, you can hear bagpipes whenever you want. Just go anywhere downtown in Edinburgh, in any kind of the tourist areas, and you'll hear bagpipes. What if you're a Monty Python fan? To us, this was fabulous. Do you know that up in the Scottish Highlands, not too far from Edinburgh, is the castle where Monty Python and the Holy Grail was filmed, where the French were hurling insults at King Arthur and his round table? I'm just going to remind you here in this clip, what happened there? And we were right there. I was ready for the French to, blow raspberries in our general direction. That's right now, Tanya. We're in a little area called Doune, D-O-U-N-E, and right in front of us is Doune Castle. And this, Tanya, is so cool. This is the castle where Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and we are French. We fart in your general direction. You are English. We hate you. And this is worth the trip right here, wouldn't you say? If you're into the Loch Ness Monster, Loch Ness is not all that far away, and it's a very popular tourist location to go to. You'll find some very interesting towns when you're up in the Scottish Highlands, including this one bit here. We're in this little town we were at, and there was a hardware store there called Screw It, and they're not ashamed of that at all. They're quite proud of the name of their store. So just Screw It. There are long-haired cows in Scotland because it gets friggin' cold, and these cattle, they need to protect themselves. So that's a kind of an interesting thing to watch. The public transportation is really good in Scotland. Buses, trains, all over the place. Now, if you're gonna live in some little town in Scotland, you might want to get a car. Cars are more expensive to buy and to maintain and to keep fueled in Scotland than they are in the U.S. But if that's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do. But buses, trains, all that other stuff is really convenient. Finally, and here is a great one, Edinburgh has a Costco. And so if you are a Costco addict, like Tanya and I are, who do most of our shopping at Costco, unashamedly, it's our go-to place. It's there. It is there in Edinburgh. So and you can get the $1.50 hot dogs, just the same as anywhere. So in summary, should you go to Edinburgh, Scotland, or maybe even some other towns that would be a little bit cheaper, Glasgow, Inverness, Aberdeen, something like that, should you retire there? Should you even consider it? Well, you might want to consider it. It might not be the most outrageous thing in the world. And if nothing else, if you've got the time and the resources, go there for 6 months or less on a tourist visa. Check it out. Become part of your community for at least a short period of time. And I think Tanya and I are not ready to do this quite yet. There's a lot of things that we need to see and want to be, we're in places we want to be. But Scotland, it could be a choice for you. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye-bye.